Hello and welcome to 5onFive. My name's Harry from Pod is Life, and these are the 5 biggest storylines going on in the NBA right now. Let's dive in. First up, biggest story of the day, biggest story of the week, and for me, biggest story of the year. The dark night is over because Carmelo Anthony is back in the NBA. After a year hiatus, the 35-year-old has signed a non-guaranteed deal with the Portland Trail Blazers. That means he's going to get a cool $11,000 every day he's on the roster until he gets waived, which hopefully is never, because goodness gracious, it's good to have Carmelo Anthony back in our lives. And for the Portland Trail Blazers, this comes at a great time. The team is off to a rocky start, and we've realized that they're relying on Rodney Hood to be their third scorer, and that doesn't do you a whole lot in the Western Conference. So thankfully and hopefully, Carmelo Anthony adds some offensive punch for this team as they look to compete in a very competitive Western Conference landscape. Worst case scenario for both parties is that Melo gets waived after about a week or so and we officially decide that Melo is washed, which would be really sad. Best case scenario, Melo actually helps this team compete out in the West, and he provides some offensive punch off the bench or even as a fringe rotation player. Who knows? Melo's been in the gym. We've seen Hoodie Melo videos. This could be Melo of old. Probably not, but it could be. This is a good move for Portland because they literally have nothing to lose. It's a great move for Carmelo Anthony, and early January, this contract becomes guaranteed. So if Melo can hang around, he will get paid, and really, I'm just hoping Melo gets the send-away farewell tour that he deserves and that he gets to go out in his terms. So here's to saying, Carmelo Anthony, welcome back. We missed you. Or at least I missed you. Second up, we have Gummygate. So if you're new to this, or if you're still looking for the latest updates, here's everything we know so far from the Miami Heat's edible situation. Dion Waiters has had some run-ins with the Heat, and they're not necessarily really happy with him so far this year. And they didn't get a whole lot happier when on a team flight out on a West Coast road trip, Dion Waiters took an edible, then passed out, and when he woke up, he had a panic attack, causing the plane to take an emergency landing. Obviously hard for the Heat organization to keep that under wraps, so now we're getting reports that the Heat are trying to figure out who gave Dion Waiters the gummy, who gave him the edible. They're trying to get him to snitch. That's right, but Dion Waiters, a great teammate on and off the court, has decided that snitches get stitches. And so because of that, Dion said, "Nuh-uh, not today," and he promptly received a 10-game suspension. He is currently in the midst of serving said suspension. When he gets over that, apparently the Heat have reportedly said they're open to Dion coming back onto the team, but he certainly has to get back in their good graces. After this 10-game suspension, he certainly could help this Heat team that has had a hot start to the season, but could use some more offensive options, especially in the later part of the season where Dion would fit in nicely. But on the Heat's other hand, if you don't have to pay Dion Waiters, that frees up some salary space for some of their young players, as well as to get Jimmy Butler a second star down in South Beach. So this could go either way, and really, we just need more information here because Gummygate is kind of flying under the radar, and I'm saying that this is the best NBA story that we've got so far this year. Just when you thought the Western Conference got easier with Golden State dismantling, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard decided, hey, why don't we play together out west? The two have teamed up for the Los Angeles Clippers, and even though we haven't seen them take the court together, we now have finally seen both of them play in their new threads. Paul George has now played 2 games for the Clippers after coming off of a shoulder surgery, and I'll tell you what, looks pretty good doing it. Looks like that shoulder is not an issue as he dropped 30 in both of his premier nights for the Clippers, and that's even without Kawhi on the floor. So we haven't seen that duo yet, but we certainly know that both of them are deadly by themselves. And what's nice for the Clippers is this means they can take nights off. You can elongate both of these players' careers by letting them play off of each other, play without each other, and essentially make sure that they both are on the court and healthy when it matters most at the end of the year. So this is definitely a scary team. Definitely everyone is looking out for the first day where we get to see both of them on the court together. And until then, we can just imagine what it looks like, and it doesn't look good for the rest of the league. Next up, we have the red-hot Celtics. The Celtics, after dropping their home opener at the 76ers, have won 10 straight games. 10 straight games. Shout out Celtics fans out there, Celtics Nations, Big Green Nation, whatever the hell they're called. Regardless, 10 straight games is nothing to scoff at, even though if you really look at it, outside of the Raptors and the Bucks, the Celtics have pretty much beaten teams they're supposed to win. But 10 games is 10 games, double digits. Congratulations, Celtics fans. And really it goes to show that Kemba Walker is fitting in with this team very nicely, leading the team in both points and assists. and that goes a long way to show what this team is going to be able to do the rest of the season. Now, they do have a West Coast road trip coming up where we'll get to see just how legit this team is as they go up against the likes of Denver, the Suns, and some other formidable Western Conference opponents. And so we'll get to see them really get tested and not play the Charlottes of the world and the Clevelands of the world. But that being said, they do have this West Coast trip without Gordon Hayward, who is out for at least 5 more weeks with a broken hand. So Celtics are going to have to hang in there without Hayward on the roster. But so far, great start to the season for Celtics fans. If you are looking at this Eastern Conference landscape, definitely have to pencil in the Celtics as a top seed out there in the East. And lastly, guys, Ja Morant is here. Ja Morant has arrived on the scene officially. Zion Williamson still sidelined, and even though everyone really had him penciled in for Rookie of the Year, it seems like that all the momentum has now finally shifted over to Ja Morant's way. Rightly so, as the young star leads all rookies in points and assists by a healthy margin, almost 19 points a game, and right around 6 assists per game. So some great numbers there, and really, he is controlling the narrative. This past week alone, Ja Morant had some clutch baskets, followed up by a buzzer beater win over the Charlotte Hornets. So some of those things that get on SportsCenter, get people talking, or make NBA Twitter ablaze. And if everyone's saying, wow, Ja Morant looking pretty good, and the highlights are there, people are talking about it. So he is starting to build up that stock for that Rookie of the Year. And really the question here is how much of a lead can he get, and how safe is that lead when we get our first Zion Williamson mega dunk later this season? That I don't know, but what I will say right now is that Ja Morant looks really good. This Memphis team's fun to watch. They've been competitive in some of these games as of late. Ja Morant playing really well at home. Still needs to figure out on the road, but young players, they'll figure that out, especially with such a young team, young core roster. And really just exciting to see. If you get a chance, definitely check out Ja Morant because he is going to drive right into the heart of the defense and still find a way to get a nice dish-off assist or throw it up at the rim. So Ja Morant solidly doing pretty well in the Rookie of the Year race, granted 10 games into the season. Hey guys, that's our 5-on-5 today. 5 biggest storylines in the NBA going on right now in the world. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow, or do whatever to get the next video we have coming out.